everybody. What I want to do is a quick video summary of our year in review. And what we mean by that is that we've been doing BedBug activity surveys for a year now. We started back in March of 2017 and just recently completed our March of 2018 data. And so we can look at the year and say, what did we see? What happened? And in the end, that was the intent of the BedBug activity surveys, is to look at years as a whole and then year to year to see if we can see trends in bedbug activity and what's going on out there, so we can better predict where business is going to be and when. And so when we look at the year in review, really two things jumped out to us. One of which is that when we look at March of 2018's data, bedbugs have really seemed to struggle to come out of what I want to say is their winter funk. We definitely see a seasonal trend with bedbugs, especially in the cold weather cities, where in the summer, July, August, and September, we definitely see an increase in activity. It cools off, let's say through February, and then starting in March and at the latest April, we usually start to see bedbug activity begin increasing again. And when we look at the year in review right now, especially at the most recent data, it really seems like, especially east of the Mississippi and in the Northeast particularly, bedbugs are still extremely slow, going into even April and the beginning of May. I've actually had companies, call me and say, like, where did all the bedbugs go? Type stuff, which obviously is, from a pest control industry's perspective is a little concerning. But that's one of the things that we've been watching and monitoring, and I can tell you that for certain it seems like bedbugs are really taking a while to come out of that winter funk, especially east of the Mississippi. And so it's something that we'll watch and monitor year to year and see how it all plays out. But I can tell you that it definitely seems a little different this year than it has in past years. Usually by April, bedbugs are beginning to roll, and even through mid-May we've been struggling to see activity. Some other things that we've noted when we look at the entire year as a whole, I talked about the seasonal trend already. We definitely noted that in the data, that there is definitely an increase in activity in July, August, and September. And then as I said, previously, one of the things that we did see is we saw a lot of places east of the Mississippi follow that ebb and flow of bedbug activity, where it was slow in the winter, busier in the summer. But when we go west of the Mississippi, we're really still seeing, I'll call it inconsistent trends, where even like into December, there were regions west of the Mississippi that were still seeing, a lot of bedbug activity. At least that's what companies were reporting. And the only thing that we can point to right now for that is that areas west of the Mississippi may still be seeing organic growth in the problem or the resurgence. Meaning that, a lot of cities in the Northeast have been dealing with this now for 10 or 15 years, and I'll call it bedbugs have kind of found a plateau, where they've kind of established, they've kind of found, where they're going to function. Pest control companies have been dealing with it for a while now. And I can tell you from talking around the industry, bedbugs are kind of status quo for a lot of companies in the Northeast and on the East Coast, where when I go into other more rural areas, people are still like, we're still seeing a huge increase in activity. It really just started a couple years ago. And I think there's a lot of areas west of the Mississippi that are still seeing that just initial organic growth, where we're not seeing that seasonal ebb and flow yet, because that growth is still on that steady increase. Now again, that's just theory, I don't know that. But that's what we're attributing it to right now, that inconsistent data trend we saw west of the Mississippi versus east of the Mississippi, where things seem to follow that seasonal trend. And those are the two big take-homes of the year in review, was the inconsistency east and west of the Mississippi, and then the slowdown, or I should say the continued slowdown into the spring, especially east of the Mississippi. And so I always ask people at the end of all these, please respond to the bedbug activity surveys. There were areas of this country where throughout the year we didn't get enough responses from people, and looking at the data was very difficult. And so please respond to the bedbug activity surveys. Any help you can give us will make the data more robust and better to look at trends, but we do plan on continuing the activity survey, and hopefully we'll have some more interesting data to look at when this year in review happens next year.